So I'm standing in one of the Hugel swales, if you will, or Hugel pathways. It's a reverse Hugel of sorts, which we like to do here in these dry, temperate climates, very arid. So, when you make Hugel beds above ground that are mounded, then they lose moisture and the microbes suffer and everything suffers. So we're sort of like mimicking desert design in the summer times here, and we're doing our cold season design in the winter time. So it's a sort of a flux back and forth. And so what I did is I rented a mini excavator and I dug out about 2 foot deep pathways, and I spread out the soil into these mounds. And even though it's like straight lines, it's on contour. But guess what? When you plant plants in patterns, they create a ziggy-zaggy line. So it doesn't matter if you use a straight line for your mounds. It happens to be on contour, but the idea is that we're in sand here, so we need to create a sponge. And so instead of trying to make these deep, typical swales, I said, well, I want a lot of different nutrient capturing, microbe capturing spaces and all different types of size. So we filled it with some logs and some sticks, and then I brought in some green material from the yard, and then I put in more wood chips, and then I added some more green material, and then I topped it with wood chips and a little bit of compost. And these pathways have now eaten that. Actually, after about 2 years, they've eaten it. And this is about as much of the wood chips that I topped these off with just in the fall and winter that's left, as you can see. So and we're talking 3 inches of wood chips since just in the winter. So this is all that you've got left. And if you dig down, and I can't dig down too far anymore because you're gonna see, yep, there's a tree root. There's a root hair right there from this tree. It's all through this whole bed. And I'm tearing it up as I go. But as you can see,
that was all wood chips?
It was wood chips, green material, wood chips. So it was a lasagna layer Hugel, if you will. And so we've built about 24 inches of topsoil, and it eats it about 3 to 4 inches every year, and then we top it off. And it's a great design. These trees are loving it. I've been able to reduce the watering. The first year I watered about normal, like every week and a half, 2 weeks, I dropped some water. And then after year 3, I've gone like once a month, and now I'm watering like a couple deep waters in the summertime. So everything that is perennials, plants, understories, like I have to water them to get started. But once they've taken root, like after about 2 years or so, then it's just like a little overhead spot water, and that's it. And this stays moist throughout the summer. And as you can see, it's a good, that's what you want to see, right? And it's just full of life, and it's great. We have a lot of worms, so much that I have a resident skunk in the yard now that basically lives off of my pathways. That's all it does, is just goes up and down the pathways and eats all the different, worms and grubs and stuff in there. I think there's enough to share, so, it's great. So I highly recommend these. It was a total experimental thing. I didn't know anybody that had done it at the time when I did it. I just said, well, you want it to be in the low place where water accumulates, and let's do that. Because I wanted to plant trees, and Hugel beds are not really great for trees. You can plant below or above them, but then it settles. So I figured, well, what would I want to do? I want the tree's roots to go towards the nutrient, to the life and to the water. And now they're fully locked in here. So I think it's a great system. It fills up from the water overflow. And every once in a while, when we get a really big storm, it actually comes out and it flows down the pathways. But most of the time, it's a sponge. I'd love to see I dropped some water in here before by accident, and I never really had any overflow, even into like after 1 or 2 swales, like it, you know, pathways, it was all eaten up by the forest. So it's a good system. So about 24,000 years of ecological soil building. You know, if they say, you know, 500 to 1,000 years to build an inch of topsoil, you know, and we've built 24 inches in just, you know, I mean, by the year 3, so 3 years, 24,000 years worth of ecological succession, that's pretty good. That's like what we can do as humans, especially on a small scale like this. So even if we did a tenth, you know, even if we did a little bit of this in the orchards out there by dropping the wood chips down again, you know, chipping the prunings and dropping everything there, maybe grow a cover crop in the middle of the pathways in the summertime and chop it, you'd be on your way at least to something like this.
Soil is the linchpin to life, to civilization, to health. If we want a healthy future, to fight environmental collapse, to live regeneratively and ethically, and to experience a life of abundance and freedom, we want healthy and abundant soil everywhere. But that means we need to relearn old ways and learn some new ways to build, cycle, and partner with soil and soil life. We can change the world radically, but it's up to us. We have to make those choices. We have to partner with soil and soil life. It takes our participation and support. Will you join us? Regenerative Soil, the full program, we're going to dive deep. We're going to be looking commercial, we're going to be looking DIY, we're going to be going garden, we're going to be going farm scale. We're going to cover it all. We want to serve everyone at all levels, and we want to create that fluency, micro to macro, so that we can spread the regeneration of our soil, our ecosystems, all our systems, all across the world. You can do this. You can regenerate soil, because regenerative soil is the linchpin for life. It's the linchpin for all systems, all of our civilization. Everything is running on this. Everything is based on this. Everything is relying upon this. Check out the link down below. Sign up and join us in Regenerative Soil, the full online course. You're not going to want to miss it. I'm Matt Powers. Grow abundantly, learn daily, and live regeneratively.